BLAB.
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 Recording. We're recording. We're live, everybody. So hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's Brunch and Blab. The Why Am I Yelling Brunch and Blab is live. It's 11:30 Eastern Standard Time in, is it raining down by you 20 minutes away from me?
I have no windows in my office.
Suanne's in a basement.
I'm in a basement. I'm in the welcome to my hidden lair.
It's a little bit rainy and crappy out today, so I'm blabbing from inside. Usually I'm outside, but I cannot tell you. I'm so excited. I'm like looking at you. I probably don't even. I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. I miss you so much.
Miss you. We don't know each other. We've never met.
Yeah, right. Like I'm totally blowing it out of the water. So I started this. For those of you guys who don't know me, like new Blab people, I'm Krista, and I am a parenting and relationship coach. And I help parents navigate the exciting path of raising children, which we are so excited about, by addressing the fear, embracing the milestones, and encouraging a creative and positive family dynamic. And I have been doing this for a few months, and I just started blabbing a few weeks ago. So Suanne is my third Blab guest. So thank you for being one of the first. We are still working out the kinks, but it's good. It's fun, and I love it. And I love to be able to showcase people who inspire me, not only with what they do in their lives for their careers, but as parents. And Suanne and I have known each other for a long time. So I've gotten a lot of really good stuff from her over the years because her kids are a little bit older than mine. Slightly. So I am going to introduce to you my good friend, Suanne Laqueur. She started out as a dancer. Like a ballet dancer. She's very talented, and she was a dancer. Look, there she is, as a child, as a dancer. Look how cute she was. She's so cute.
So cute.
And after she decided to not be a dancer anymore, she went into the telecommunications industry because that makes all the sense in the world.
That makes all the sense in the world.
That's where we met. So I'm very happy that she was there. We've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
A long time. And she is an avid reader, a writer, a foodie, which I love, and a gardener, which I also love because now that I have a garden, I'm always like, Suanne, what do you plant?
Is this a weed? Poison ivy? What is this?
Whatever. It's awesome.
Yeah.
She started a blog called Eats, Read, Thinks in 2010, which I am a follower of. And in 2013, this is my favorite part of the story, she decided to pursue her dream and become a published author. And so she has written 4 books. That's it. That's the number 1 book.
That's the number 1. That's my baby.
I have them all on my shelf right behind me. She has written 4 books, and she's working on number 5, and she's won a few awards for them, and she's gotten some really great recognition. And I am a huge fan of all of the books that I've read. I've read all of them, and I've had sneak peeks to all of them too. Yeah. So I'm very lucky that I am in that very small little group.
My army.
The army.
The army.
Yes. Suanne is married to JP. They've been together for 18 years, and he's a kick-ass, awesome guy. Yeah. And they have 2 great kids.
He's over there.
He's over there. Hi, love you, JP. And they have 2 kids, Julie and AJ, and Julie is a teenager. And so we're going to talk about that. But I want you to say hello.
Hello.
And we are going to, I want to talk about first following your passion and why it was important for you and what made you decide to do it when you did it.
Yeah. That's a funny story because it was a real sudden decision. I mean, like I never believed people who said, I just woke up one day and I just decided to do it. But that's how it happened. For me, I had always been a writer. I had like 20 years of material stuck in manila envelopes and on hard drives. I just played around with it. I never did anything. But then when I started the blog, it was really a chance to for people to see that side of me. And I remember our mutual friend, Tony Milano, saying to me, he goes, "You're a good storyteller."
Yeah.
And I was like, but it was a chance to showcase my writing, and I would do little pieces of flash fiction in there. So it was a way of doing it safely. Right. And then literally in November of 2013, I just woke up one day and I said, what the hell am I waiting for?
Right.
What am I waiting for?
Right.
And so one thing I've learned in this whole journey is that it's really important to set realistic goals. And so I said to myself, okay, the goal is going to be to finish it. I have this kind of story with a lot of material and a lot of characters, but the goal is going to be, because just say like, I'm going to write a book and be famous. It just doesn't, that's not a reasonable, measurable goal. So I said, I'm going to finish it. I'm going to work with an editor. I'm going to make it the best it can be. And now, since we have all these great self-publishing platforms like CreateSpace and Draft to Digital and Lulu, I can put it out there for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Find it, make it, like the book.
Make it gorgeous. I'm going to get them.
Have this in my hands.
Here's
put it under my pillow. Yay, look at my books. Yay. And it was only going to be this one. I mean, I was just like, I'm just going to finish it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to write it. I'm going to give it to my mother. I'm going to give it to my friends. I'm going to put it out there. And, they'll get to see this side of me, and it will just be an accomplishment. I can say I did it.
Right.
And then everything that came after that, that was like frosting on the cake, but really just to stick to that one dream, that one goal. It really was a matter of waking up one day and saying, it's time. What am I waiting for?
Right.
And to have the platform to do it, and then have the right goal set.
And so you had a full-time job while you were full-time job.
Yes.
Getting feedback. Should I put my headphones in? I hear feedback. Do you hear it? Oh no, now I
don't hear it. No.
Okay. How did you find the time to do it in between your real life?
Yeah,
that's regular.
That's the big question that everyone, even when I was blogging, people were like, how do you have time to do this? And I'm just a firm believer in that if you want it bad enough, I'm always telling this to my daughter too.
Yep.
You have to want it.
Yep.
And if you kind of want it, you're going to kind of do it.
Right.
And it was like, even Prince EA, was he the one who says, if you kind of have a dream, you're going to kind of get results. So if you want it bad, so that's the thing, you have to want it bad enough. And I wanted it bad enough. And I sat my family down and I said, this is what I want to do. This is what it means. This for me. And here's what it means for you. Right. I might not be at the basketball games. I might, there might be cold cereal for dinner at night. Right. You're going to be seeing a lot less of me. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be downstairs, but I'm going to be focused on this because this is what I really, really, really want. And they were great.
Yeah.
They were really, really great. And I think that's a step that a lot of people miss. Mm-hmm. And saying, sitting down and saying, okay, this is what I want to do, but here's what it means for me. And here's what it's going to mean for you. Here's what I'm going to need from you. And this is what you can expect from me. And as for the time thing, you set the alarm earlier and you get up in the morning and you do it, or you're doing it. It's not like sitting down and writing for 8 hours straight. It was a half hour here, it was an hour there. Right. There were a lot of nights when I was up till 2 a.m. You do it when you have time to do it, if you want to.
Of course, yeah.
And that's the big question. Like you said, I'd love to write a book, blah 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 blah. And I was like, do you want to?
Right.
Just do it.
Right. That's I think that especially for me, I think doing it, like, especially with this whole business thing, it's like, I feel like I've been doing it, but then something just kind of clicked in me not even that long ago. And it was like, you know what? It's not that I wasn't doing it, but I had to like really sit everybody down and be like, listen, this is what I want. And I know that you've been supporting me along the way so far, but here's what I'm going to need going forward. I'm going to need a little more time, and I'm going to need this, and I'm going to need that. And I'm not going to feel bad about needing that because I need it. So I think that's really important.
Not feel bad about wanting it, not feel bad. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I love that. And so now this I love too, because I think that, we're two very strong. We have big personalities. We have big mouths sometimes. We like to sling words around and say, yeah. But I also think that, in terms of, like, we're moms and we have kids. And I think it's important to, like, like you said, set realistic expectations with them. But I also think it's important to be like a really good role model for them. And I think that doing something like this makes them appreciate us even more. It's it's not like, you know, but I think them seeing us try to fulfill something that we
and fail.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. And I think there was two important lessons, you know, for both my kids, but especially my daughter, that I was doing this at 46.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, 46. It is never too late.
Right.
It is never too late. You do not have to pick your passion and dream at 50.
Right.
And it's written in stone, and that's it. And that's all you can be. You can be 8 million different things.
Yep.
Over the course of your life, you can keep reinventing yourself. You can keep evolving. So that was number one. And number two, to let them see that it was hard.
Yeah.
It was really, you know, the parts that were hard. And like, you know, I'd get drafts back from my editor, and, you know, like going through the editing process. I mean, that's just like getting naked. And
yeah.
You have to learn how to take criticism and how to take feedback, and you get your feels hurt.
Yeah.
And misunderstandings and their struggle, and just, you know, don't hide in the basement and let them all see that. I mean, I come upstairs and be like, oh my God, I'm so frustrated, or I'm stuck. I have a plot. I've written myself into a corner. I don't know what to do. And it was like, you know, to let them see that and share that and let them see the process. I'm a huge fan. I read a book, which I will put down here in the message. It's a book by Austin Kleon. It's called Share Your Work. And it really talks about how, you know, so many artists, they hide away and then they produce the finished thing. And it's like a very mystical process, you know, that they're over there in the laboratory. They don't let you see anything, and then they give it to you. Whereas Austin Kleon was like, but wouldn't you love to be sitting over Van Gogh's shoulder as he's painting? Wouldn't you love to be like, you know, like present when a musician is composing something, when someone is writing something? And so people love the process. And when I've gone to book clubs as a guest and talked, it's 50-50. It's like 50% questions about the book, and then 50% questions about how do you write about, how did this happen? How did it like this? People are really interested in the process. So whatever your journey is and whatever your passion is, whatever, you know, like the trip is just as important. It's getting there. And don't hide the trip. Don't hide the ugly parts of the trip. Don't hide the hard parts of the trip, because when people see you fail and get over it or regroup or do whatever, it's just as inspiring as when they see your book on the shelf.
Yeah,
absolutely. And so that was really important for my kids to see too. And they talk about it too.
That's great.
So hopefully,
I mean, I know that, you know, like when they see their friends' moms reading your books, it's like, oh my God, what is happening right now?
And my book was featured at the elementary school book fair. They had a little section for, you know, adult works. And so they asked me for copies. I put it there. And like AJ would take classmates and let's go visit my mother's book.
Oh my God, he's so funny.
This is my mother's book. See, I'm in the acknowledgements. You know,
right, this one's mine.
AJ, who blah blah. Like
that is,
love that.
I love it.
It's been wild. It's been wild on a lot of levels.
Right. And so now I want to get into, you know, you have these, I mean, first of all, anybody who's watching this or on the replay or whatever, Suanne's books are so freaking good. I can't even, I mean, that's not even, and I'm not even saying that because I love her and she's my friend. Like, I'm saying that because every person that I've given these books to has not been able to put them down and is like, are you kidding me? Like, you know somebody who writes like this? So there's a lot of personal like stuff in here that I know you got from just your life. So talk about why you decided to include like some personal stuff and you know, how it has influenced you. Like now it's 3 years later, right? And so talk about the journey of you including your personality into this.
Okay. So I like to tell people that the books are emotionally autobiographical and they just have different circumstances layered on top. And I think a lot of the book's impact and a lot of the book's influence is that it's very emotionally authentic. It touches emotions that we all feel. The circumstances almost don't matter, but it just gets deep into that. And a lot of the characters, they go through periods of anxiety, periods of depression, which are something I have been very close friends with over my life. And that was a journey myself that I went through. Right. You know, my anxiety started way early, like 4th grade. And it was something I battled with privately because we all through right around the time I started having kids. I didn't go into therapy until I was like in my 30s.
Right.
Which is something, you know, like I kind of regret, but I've kind of learned to say that everything happens not only for a reason, but it happens at the time it happens for a reason,
Yep.
blah, 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 blah. But I started that journey kind of late in my life, but the work was good. The work was hard, but the recovery was good. And therapy is amazing.
Yep.
If you get the right therapist and it works for you. And I wanted to include that somehow. The book itself was a journey. The book itself, it's a couple who meet in college. They go through something a really horrific experience together. Yep. That not only tears them apart, but it ripples through their circle of friends, and all these relationships and all these connections are broken. And it's really a story of this guy who then goes on through his adult life with all this stuff reverberating in him, and how he turns around to face it and go forward. So there, in the first two books, each of the characters does go through the therapy process.
Yep.
And it's just because the learning the insights and learning how certain primitive parts of your mind wire events together and then create a narrative that you go on and live. And the whole concept of not feeling emotions when they are happening. We think if we can shut them down, bury them in the backyard, throw them in a closet and slam the door, they're gone. And they're not gone. They are there. And in fact, when you open the door to look at them, they don't even have dust on them. They're there waiting.
Right in the face.
Right. You're here to play.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for opening the door.
I've been waiting to feel this for a while. Those were all real things that happened to me. And so I said, how can I share this? How can I build this experience into a story, make it fictionalized? Because I don't want to write my own. I'm not going to write my story. But how can I make this a story? And so I worked all that in, and it was challenging because if anyone has been to therapy, it's not a one chapter experience that goes on, for however long, but no one is going to sit there and read, whatever. So it was a way to, how am I going to condense it while still keeping it relevant and real and important and all that thing and show that journey. And so each of the books, the 3 books together are an epic journey, but each book individually is its own journey. I mean,
they are so freaking good. I can't
thank you.
There they are.
There they are.
There they are.
There they are.
And she you have just done such a beautiful job with them, and I'm so proud of you. I can't even, I really.
Because like I said, the accomplishment was to just, publish and put it out there. Boom, you hit the button, you're live.
Yeah, but then when you start to get the feedback from people, now what?
Well, yeah, and then you start learning about promotion, and you start learning about marketing, and and for someone who, the way I am now is vastly different from where, the way I was 3 years ago. Yes, I was
sure.
I had a personality and I was out there like this. But when it came to self-promotion and talk about myself and promote myself, and I was like, no, no, we're not doing any of that stuff. But when you're self-published, here's the whole thing. When you're self-published, you have complete control of the story. That book is yours. You have the final say, you have the final call. But you have to do all the marketing. You have to do all the promoting. You have to do all that stuff. So when people say, why did you self-publish as opposed to pursuing traditional publishing, there's pros, there's cons. I chose this way because it fit me. It fit into my life. I could do it on my schedule, on my terms, it was all about control. So the whole marketing and the promoting thing, that's where I learned the most.
It's crazy.
I learned a lot about writing. I learned about the craft. I learned about technical and storytelling and things, but I learned a ton about marketing and a ton about promoting. So the journey, it's just been an amazing experience. It changed me. I am different.
Yeah, well, and you should be, because now it's part, it is legitimately a part of you, and there's more books coming, and there's
more books
you're telling stories, and
I'm in the middle of a huge challenge now because I wrote this 4 book series of these characters who are alive to me. They're in the next room, they're with me all the time.
Sure.
But now to say, okay, that's done, and to say something is done is almost as hard to say as it's going to begin. It's like, this is done. We're going to peel our fingers off it and create some new people and a new story and it's like.
Has that been easy? I mean, I know it's not been easy for you, but has it been a little cathartic maybe?
It was scary. And I do have an idea for a 5th book in the series, but I'm kind of treating it as a reward, saying, I know I can write them.
Right.
They're like the piece of cake to me now. I know them inside out. That's a reward. We're going to put that over there. We're going to do something really scary, and maybe we'll flop. Maybe nobody will like it. There's an amazing TED Talk that Elizabeth Gilbert gives.
I love
Love her. Her TED Talks are amazing. Even if you don't like her as an author, and a lot of people don't.
No, but she does a lot of really great, motivational
talks.
They are.
Talks are great. And so she did this, and she's funny. She did this hilarious talk about how the success of Eat, Pray, Love was really freakish.
Yes.
To her, because she was just going to she had lost everything in a divorce.
Yep.
She had this crazy idea. She was going to go around the world. She got her advance. And she was just going to write it, get it out of her system because she had to write it. We know we have to write these stories.
Sure.
And I'm just going to do it, put it aside, and then write my novel. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And the thing went
crazy.
Like that. Crazy success. And then she said, okay, now I have to write the thing that comes after Eat, Pray, Love.
And how do you do that?
And she's like, it's doomed. It's doomed. Yeah. The people who loved Eat, Pray, Love are going to say, it's not Eat, Pray, Love. And the people who hated Eat, Pray, Love are going to be like, oh, she's still alive?
Right.
So she talked about this thing that, it's, and the point is, she goes, tremendous success is just as scary as tremendous failure, because she goes, if you look on a scale of 1 to 10 and your normal is like in the middle at 0, and she said success is +5, failure is -5. She goes, it's not the plus and minus, it's the absolute value of how far you are from your normal.
Yep.
So she said, artists freak out when they fail, and artists really freak out when they succeed.
They do.
And the only thing to do is to come back home to 0 and write. Just get back to your home base and write. So I said, well, if Liz Gilbert can do it,
I can do it.
I can do it.
Absolutely can. What are you talking about? You're doing it.
I'm just, and that's what I do all through the writing process when I'm stuck or when I'm, it's not coming, it's not flowing. I mean, the 2 words I'm always saying, don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. You thought of it before. You'll think of it again. You always think of something. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I find that inspiration, especially for me, when I'm writing my blog posts or even when I'm feeling stuck about something, and it's my inspiration comes in the shower.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Driving in the shower.
I'm in the shower.
Yep.
Or I will literally sit up in bed at 4 o'clock in the morning and be like, oh my God, I have to write this down.
I have to write this down. Yep.
I don't know why that happens for me. And I'm sure it happens a lot for a lot of people, but it's I can be sitting here walking around the house and talking to myself because I do that all the time. And then all of a sudden it's I'm going to go take a shower, and boom, and I start talking to myself in the shower, and I've just had a whole blog conversation. And I'm like, oh shit. I need to take a video recorder or a voice recorder in the shower with me so I can remember what I just said to myself.
Oh,
that's the truth.
God. I know. I did the thing was sitting up in bed, and then holy cow, I got this thing where I learned, one of my daughter's teachers taught me this. She said, if you attach gross motor movement to a thought, it sticks better. And so I don't get out of bed, but I just imagine taking a big paint brush and I just paint letters on the ceiling. Just a word, or just like this, or I envision the back of the garage wall that's blank, and I just paint big. And she goes, "You have to move your arm and do." And
that's amazing. I'm going to do that.
Totally work, because then like I said, keep a notebook behind the bed. Then you have it
right
on and blah 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 blah. And so I just said, I just need to nail it into my head. So I do this ridiculous thing, but it works.
That's amazing.
Whatever works. And then if you have to, I think I did a post about this recently. I'm like, if you have to write naked in the garden shed, write naked in the garden shed. Whatever works.
Yeah.
Whatever works. It's not competition. However you do it, your thing. Do it.
So that, my friend, is a perfect segue
to parenting.
Yes.
It's now a verb.
It is a verb.
I loved that. I loved that article. You should.
It was a good one. I did. I read it yesterday. In fact, I thought it was a really good article too.
It's so true because, you don't wife, you don't husband.
You don't.
No, but we parent.
Right. So we're talking, and of course I'm a parenting coach, so there's that. But Suanne and I are talking about this article that came out in, it was in the Times. Was it the Times?
I think it was the Times. Yeah.
About manifesto. It's the Wall Street Journal. Hold on. It was in the Wall Street Journal, and it was called a manifesto against parenting.
Yes.
And it's talking about, how we should grow our children organically.
Mm-hmm.
And
parenting as gardening and not as a professional skill set.
Right.
That kind of thing, because there's no, I don't know, you don't get a degree, you don't get a promotion, you don't get, it's not something you put on your resume, and it's this whole thing about how it's become a verb.
It's a verb. It's totally a verb. And I think that's funny because, like when I'm creating stuff for Why Am I Yelling, and when I'm creating stuff for the parents out there, like my programs and stuff, I always say the same thing over and over. There's no wrong way to parent.
No.
And so everybody does it differently. And just
everyone does it differently, but there's this thing in us that always says everyone else is doing it cooler. Everyone else is doing it better. Everyone else is doing it, everyone else is doing it. And I am not doing it right. Meanwhile, everyone's looking at you saying, oh my God, she's awesome. And you're like, I'm winging it. Are you kidding me?
I am winging it. And I say it all the time, like in my posts, in my talks, I'm doing a webinar next week, and all my content is like, look, dude, I'm winging this too.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, and that's why I'm here for the parents who are winging it and are admitting to winging it. And
we're all winging it.
We're all winging it. And you're not doing it the wrong way. Mm-hmm. Your way is just different from my way. And that's okay. And that's, I've been taking a lot of other parenting, stuff from other parenting coaches. Mm-hmm. And there are people out there who are very rigid in their belief and their stuff. And that's fine for you.
It works for you.
That's not what I'm preaching. I'm preaching that you're your own individual and your family is your own individual. And let's figure out how to make that individuality of your unit yours and successful and that kind of thing. And so you have 2 kids and they are 15 and 12. So you're in the teenage years. Yep. And I'm not there yet.
It's a different set. Yep. Parenting is trading in one set of problems for a different set of problems. Not a worse set, not a better set, just
another one.
A different set of problems. And they get more complex as you
of course
go forward. Yeah.
And your teenager is a girl. And so I'm not ever going to have that experience.
Girls are
they're only through friends.
Girls are mean.
Girls are mean. Girls are mean. And they start being mean little.
Yeah.
Little.
Louis C.K. says, am I allowed to curse on here? Would that be? Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay. So Louis C.K., he said it best. He goes, boys fuck things up. Girls are fucked up.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. They are. Whoa. And the challenge, of course, is to dial back into when I was whoa.
Right. Right.
Bad, but it's it's so hard. It's different these days, with the technology, the social media, it's like a whole different game, but at its basic, you just have to try to dial back into that time when everything was a thing and everything was so important and you had no big picture past high school. Right. Your school days were your life. That's where everything happened. And so every cross-eyed look, every remark, everything, you just took it and blew it out of proportion. And it's this, we're like, oh, they love the drama. And I'm like, yeah, they do. And it doesn't matter if it's good drama or it's bad drama. As long as something is happening, they're happy. Not happy, but they're alive. So
you have one of each. So tell me, they're 2 very different kids. They're 2 different genders. They're everything's. And my kids they're the same, but they're 2 different kids, and their personalities and stuff are very different. But I think that number one, for me, when I'm doing anything coaching wise, I start at the beginning, and I always start with like the parenting relationship, because if you don't have that worked out, all the rest of it can get very complicated. And so how do you and JP handle the teenage years together? Have you, because I encourage everybody, like, sit down and talk, like, but when you're pregnant, talk about what kind of parents you want to be.
Right.
And when you get to this, like, when you're ready for the next stage, talk about what kind of parents you want to be when they go to school or whatever the next thing is. So, like when Julie was in, like, cause now I'm a tween mom. So I'm kind of there.
You're kind of there.
But like when Julie was getting into I remember when she was getting into the teenage years, and it was a little bit of a struggle, right? I mean, it's like, holy shit, what is this thing?
Right.
And how did you guys approach it as a team? Or did you?
Very seamlessly. We have always been partners, which is always, that was built into our marriage vows, that we're partners on the path. And a lot of what we do is very seamless, because we have we were raised in very similar situations, concerning religion, concerning, parental relationships. I mean, we were very, very the same. And so a lot of the decisions, they just kind of did. But I do notice that in the teenage years, the teen years are tough on a marriage, in that you really have to be united. You have to be like a united front, because this is the age where the kid figures out that's the good cup, that's the bad cup. She'll be lenient on this, he'll let that go.
Right.
And so you can't be fighting between you. When you're arguing when they're young, it's different, because they kind of wander off into a corner and they're slightly oblivious,
right?
To what's going on. But the teens, I mean, they are the radar just boom, because they know how they can work it to their advantage. I'm really fortunate in that my daughter tells me, do you know, I had my speech to text thing on, and I'm like recording everything.
You're recording the whole thing.
I must have said Siri, and she listened. My daughter, I'm very fortunate. My daughter tells me everything.
That's great.
I'm also unfortunate in that my daughter tells me everything.
Oh, yeah.
It could be a double-edged sword, but I would rather she tell me everything, and I'll just tune out the parts I want. So we've had really good conversations about drugs, about alcohol, about sex, about relationships, about, those things, you have those talks, and we feel good about both kids. They seem to have a really good moral compass. They seem to have a sense of guilt if they do something wrong, something like that. So the communication is good. I can't complain. It's hard. Some of the conversations are really tough. Had issues where Julie was dealing with her own matters of depression, and and I really had to
address it properly, and because I was just like, on the one hand, I was like, oh, I hate seeing her go through what I went through, and then on the other hand, I was like, well, at least I went through it, and I can help navigate her. But it's painful. You don't want to see your kids hurt. You don't want to see your kids suffer, and it's and you have those moments where you're kind of like, do I have to do that? Oh yeah, there's a lot of that.
Adult in the room. It's
right.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. It's hard. It's hard, but you don't have to do it alone, and you don't have to do it perfect. I mean, one of the things that JP and I, we've embraced, is this philosophy of beers and bees. It's like, average is okay. The bell graph, the curve, and in here is good.
It's all good.
It's all good. It's really good in there. Like, a friend of mine told us, beers and bees, so that if they go to college, they can go out and be social and have beers with their friends and make good decisions and show good judgment, and still pull in a decent, the blessing. Plus, it's not a bad thing.
No,
you want to always do your best, but I don't subscribe to this philosophy that there's a limited number of slots of success in the world, and you have to fight. Not only do you have to fight tooth and nail to get your kid in there, but you got to teach your kid that they got to fight tooth and nail. Otherwise, they're going to miss the boat and they'll be a plumber. Well, We need plumbers.
We need plumbers.
They make good money. You know, there's
Right.
a place for everyone in the world. Everyone, there's room.
Yeah, there's room
for everyone in the world. And you don't have to pick your career path straight out of high school. Look at me.
I'm having a conversation right now in the Why Am I Yelling Facebook group because a good friend of mine has a daughter who is 17. She's graduating from high school, and she was like, "What is it?" She's like, "I already know that Krista is like a big advocate for the gap year in between high school and college." And she's like, "What do you think?" So she listed out all the stuff that her daughter is asking about and going through and is considering and stuff. And I just replied to her and I was like, "Listen, I have not done any research on it, but in my brain, the gap year, it will probably be, I don't know, not enforced, but suggested in this house because I think it's a great idea. But I also, like, it's not for you to sit on your ass and twiddle your thumbs. Like, you're going to join Greenpeace, or you're going to go to the other side of the world and dig a ditch somewhere, or you're going to
Habitat for Humanity, or you're
something.
We just had Julie doing volunteering with Friends of Karen, and she went over there and she sorted school supplies or whatever, and it was hours. And he said, the volunteering, not only, you know, it's a good thing to do, but it really gets their mind off themselves, which is, you know, they stop thinking about their little, and they start thinking, holy shit, this family had cancer, and, you know, hey, it's a good thing for them. I think
the exposure to something like that is so valuable and teaches them such great lessons. So it's true. I think, you know, there's no certain set path for any one of us. I mean, look, like, who the hell knew that I was going to be starting my own business at 43 years old and doing this? And, like, throwing myself out there.
Right. Ooh. And you have all these, like, you know, decades of your life where different things happen. In your 20s, you're one way, and in your 30s, you're another way. In the 40s, give me a high five.
Oh, right there, sister.
Don't fear the 40. I'm telling you.
They're the best.
They're the best. Absolutely
the best, without question. I used to think 30s were the best. I was like, oh, I loved being 30. And then, you know, I remember when I turned 40 and you were like, come on in, the water's fine.
And my mother told me that too. She goes, you don't get fabulous till you're 40. I was like, shut up, Mom. It's so true. It's
so cliche. Like, you find yourself.
You put it all together and you're like, these were the valuable things of 30. I'm going to leave the rest. These are the two things I want from 20s. Leave the rest, and you go forward.
Yeah.
Much better skills, and your bullshitometer is just so much better.
Oh, it's amazing. It's like, stop talking.
Stop.
Yes.
Just
true.
Stop.
Yep.
But then and again, to circle back around now, the teens don't have that. Everything right now. Right. And their life ends when they're at 20. You know,
it does. They don't know.
So it's hard for them, and so it's no consolation to them to say, "Honey,
right?
It's not going to matter," because it does. It does matter, and so I've learned a lot about when your kid is just unloading. It's that whole like we do this with the men-women thing. You know, the men, they have the Y chromosome that just wants to fix everything. That's the hardest part for my husband with my daughter, because he wants to fix. He's a man. He does that. And even, you know, me, like you don't want your kid to you want to fix.
How do I fix this?
The best thing you can do is you learn these 5, you learn, oh, then what happened? How did that feel?
Oh,
I'm sorry. You know, and you just, let them, because the conversation where you let them get it out and the conversation where you maybe offer some suggestions and try to fit have to be two separate conversations.
Oh yeah.
And so there's times where, and with a teenager, they will go from 0 to 60 back to 0 in 5 minutes.
Yep.
I've heard my daughter in her room laughing hysterically, and 2 seconds later she's at my bedside in tears, and I'm like,
what just happened? Where was I? Is it tomorrow? What just happened?
What's happened? And so she'll be at the dinner table, like, you know, like there's not enough room for Julie. She spreads, you know, the work across the dinner.
Right.
And she'll just get up in tears and be like, I can't do this. I'm so pressured. I have so much work. This. And I'm sitting on the couch and I'm reading, and I just put the pillow on my lap and I'm like, there you go. And just let her lie there. And all you got to do is play with their hair.
Yeah.
And just say, you're working so hard.
Right.
I can
You're
see
doing a
how
good
hard
job.
it is. You're so tired. I
Right.
know.
Right.
And just let them get that part out. And then maybe like 10, 15 minutes later saying, you want to make a list? Do you,
Right. Right.
Is there anything we can prioritize? And
Right.
to say to them, something's got to go. Okay.
Yeah.
You have a paper, you have a test, you have a quiz, you have and I'm like, something's got to go. Let's write an email to the teacher. Let's be honest and put it out there.
Yep.
Because in the real working world, what are you going to do? You're going to send an email saying, I couldn't get to this.
I need it. Right. And I need a deadline extension.
I need a deadline extension. I need 12 hours. You go in with a solution. You saying, I can't have it by 9 a.m. I can have it by noon, you know, like, and that's the whole, and the whole thing. And then again, not to suffer alone, because out here in the real world, we do it together.
Of course.
Do it. Yeah.
We're on IM. Like, can you believe this shit? Yeah.
Or you're on Facebook. Does anyone know the name of an optometrist?
Yep.
Like,
Yes.
Put it out to the Brain Trust. So why not do that in school? I love it. I'm like, call somebody, call a friend, or best thing you can do for your kid is to have them own the relationship with their teacher. So you're not making the phone call. You're not.
We did that this year. It really.
Sixth grade is the year to do it. I took Michelle Obama's advice, who she said middle school is the best year to take your hands off the wheel, because the net is.
Oh, I did in fifth grade. I was like, get the hell out.
Or sixth grade or whatever.
Teacher.
Take your hands off the wheel, let them fall on their faces and let the chips fall and see what happens.
Yep.
Because then you can teach the valuable lesson of, you know, like time management and organization, and all that, but you can also teach, okay, you're going to have to go to your teacher and say, I'm having this problem. What can I do?
Yep.
And
I love it.
Neither one of my kids did great sixth grade. I mean, they really just everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's supposed to. And I think a lot of parents don't get that, or they don't let their kids fall on their faces.
Yes.
And, you know, figure out the consequences. And like, you know, and really because, you know, AJ came home and he had gotten like a 53 on all I said was, how does that feel?
Right.
I said, not too good, Mom. Okay. So, you know, you don't like this.
Fix it.
But exactly. What are you going to do? Here are your options. Here's your, you know, your plan. And he did.
Yeah.
And he did. And he's coming home and he's the guy, he comes home. I got an 85. And I'm like, awesome. Yay!
Hey.
Great. Beers and bees. You know, we love it. We love it. And there's a college for them. There's a path for them. It's going to be okay.
Right.
Don't worry.
I'm not worried at all.
I know. Just I mean, they're healthy. They got all four limbs. They're happy. Like you always say, just be happy. Just be happy.
Just be happy.
I
don't care. Just be happy.
Just be happy. Yep.
All right. We have 45 minutes.
Left?
I mean, no, we just talked for 45 like it's usually a half hour. 45 minutes. I love this. But I have to go pick up Elias at camp, or else I would talk to you for the next 6 hours.
Yay.
So everybody, this is my gorgeous friend, Suanne Laqueur, and she is an extremely talented author and a wonderful mother and just a beautiful person inside and out.
I love you so much.
She put up all your links right now.
Okay.
And I'm going to hold up the books.
Okay, so this is over here in the message.
Yes.
Man I Love is book number 1 in the Fishtails. There it is.
Do it.
And the next book in the Fishtails is Give Me Your Answer. These I am putting up the Amazon links. However, they are available on iBooks, Nook, Barnes & Noble, Kobo. I don't know if anyone knows Kobo, and Google Play. So your answer true is my
number 2.
Number 2. This is my number 2. And whoops. This is here. Our love is here to stay.
These books are so good, and they make amazing gifts. Buy them for your girlfriends, because they really are, like, you'll be crying from, I don't know, page 3.
No, you won't be
crying. That's not a lie.
Page 3 is hot. Come on.
Wait, In page 3, she's still saying thank you. Wait, this one I have signed. You have to come back and sign all the rest of the book.
I know. The signing is weird. I'll be like, I'm going to put my website here.
Please do.
Signing books. And
Share it all.
I totally derp out. I'm like, like you're signing your signature, and in the middle your brain goes, I'm signing a book, and your signature goes like,
what? Oh shit.
Like,
right.
you know, when you like when you're at the bank signing the mortgage, you have to sign your name like 85 times, and after a while it's just like
yes, it turns into a line.
I know. Suanne Laqueur writes stuff.
Buy her books, read her blog, Eats Reads Thinks.
That blog is kind of I wrote a book. I had to give up something, you know.
I know.
But this, and then here's the book of face.
Follow her like crazy. She's amazing.
We have fun on my page, and whoops, sorry, my Excel's going crazy. And there's my Twitter, the tweet.
Look at this. It's all on there.
It's all there. I think I got everything.
I'll put all this on my post too.
Excellent. I'll send you my football with all my links in it.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
And the what?
That would be great. That'd be great. That'd be talking fast.
All right.
Okay, I love you. Thank you so much for doing this. And we have to like get together in real life soon. Like I want to kiss your face.
Lake house. I love your lake house.
Come up.
I will.
In fact, come up during the week when there's no guys here, just kids. Bring the kids.
Bring the kids. I'll bring my laptop. All right.
Right. That's exactly what we should do. Okay. I love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kisses and hugs to everybody in your life. I love you.
I love you. Bye.
Bye.